Welcome to the Buckem Podcast. I'm your host, Michael. I'm with the one and only Fanatic. Fanatic, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. I had a good Father's Day. I hope you guys had a great Father's Day as well this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And there was maybe protests about no kings, but I know the one king of our kingdom is Ken Lee. How's it going, Ken Lee?
What's up,
Yeah,
everybody? I had a great Father's Day. I hope you guys also had a great Father's Day as well. Ready to get started on today's topic, baby.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great topics. Um,
guns
we're gonna
blazing.
circle, we're gonna circle through all of them. But we'll start off for what I think is probably the biggest question, and will probably be a big piece of the pie, and that is Bo Nix top 10? Fanatic, is Bo
Ooh,
Nix top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now?
right now, um, I'd say he is top 10 right now, and here's why. I'm looking at names such as Jordan Love. He could probably be ahead of Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. But with the changes made that we've seen in the growth so far, and from what Sean Payton is saying, up the pace in terms of being able to read the field and playing faster, right? In a clip that you see him with Cortland Sutton from OTAs or minicamp, whatever one it was, practice, he was coaching up Cortland Sutton of how he wanted the route run. So I think he has the weapons around him to be top 10. If he puts up 3,500 yards, maybe 30 touchdowns to go with 10 interceptions, that to me could be top 10 in the league. And not only that, but one thing that's very important about Bo Nix, he doesn't take very many sacks. He only had 24 last year, his rookie season. Could that go down? And he doesn't really turn the ball over. Trying to blink. I think he had 12 interceptions last year as a rookie. Does that go down by 3, maybe 4? We don't know. But to me, he's top 10.
What about you, Ken Lee? Is Bo Nix top 10 right now for you?
I would have to agree, and statistically, Fanatic hit on all his stats and turnover worthy plays. He was like top 3 in the NFL at the least of turnover worthy plays. So, he's up there with the Lamar Jackson of the world. So I definitely believe that Bo is a top 10 quarterback, and this coming up season will be a top 10 quarterback. Like we talk about him being in the same system, and especially reports coming out of camp, he seems less hesitant. Like he's playing faster, quicker decisions, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bo can do in this offense. But yes, I do agree. I believe Bo is a top 10 quarterback and will be a top 10 quarterback coming up this season.
Yeah, his play there at the end was pretty good. He looked like a veteran. Those are the looks that I really like. I do think he'll turn over the ball a little bit more, but I think we'll see a lot more from Bo also. So there's just, when you're hot, you're hot. It's like an NBA player when you're making a bucket. There's just times he's going to throw one just because he's like, man, it's my day,
Yeah,
And
he's feeling it. He's feeling
yeah,
it.
yeah, he was feeling it. And it's more like a heat check. It happens. And I'm pretty sure he'll do that. He'll do those things. He definitely has the tools to be a top 5 QB. Everything's about scheme. So obviously, he can't just do it by himself. In order for that to look like that, he'll need some help. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Another guy I'm super excited about, more than everybody else for whatever reason, but it's Cortland Sutton. I think his best is yet to come. I do have some concerns, and nothing to do with Court. I've got some concerns on why we haven't got the deal done. Fanatic, um,
There we go.
when do the Broncos get this deal done, and how long should it get done for?
Well, I'm sorry to be frank, but they don't get the deal done. This is a hot take, in my opinion. We take a look at around the room. There's other dudes that need an extension as well, not just Cortland Sutton. There's other mouths to feed. Cortland Sutton has Pat Bryant behind him. He wasn't drafted by any mistake. Let's be honest. Most people had Pat Bryant as the 5th round draft grade. Sean Payton drafted him in the 3rd. He made comparisons to Mike Thomas, and we know what Mike Thomas was in that Sean Payton offense. Now, I know Kinley has said, and many other Broncos country fans have alluded to the fact of maybe Pat Bryant being that wide receiver 2. So if he is wide receiver 2 going into the rookie year, why can't he be wide receiver 1 next season? And wide receivers, to me, it seems like is a dime a dozen at this point, the way they've been hitting the trade block. You look at John Franklin Myers, who, in my opinion, deserves an extension. You look at the Eagles, what they did with that front 7. That wins Super Bowls. And you don't really see many defensive linemen hitting the market as you do wide receivers, in my opinion. Now, you don't want to really handcuff yourself either when it comes to a player like Cortland Sutton. I know he fits the Payton offense well, but what I'm alluding to is next offseason, we are free of the dead cap hit of Russell Wilson. So can we back up the Brinks truck and sign our own wide receiver of our choice? Why handcuff yourself? And does Devon Bailey or like I pointed to the fact of Pat Bryant, do one of those guys step up big time in that to fill that void? I think so.
All right. Well, man, that unexpected, but I like it. It came with a lot of interesting stuff to back it. But I'm gonna swing over to Kinley because he's already shaking his head.
And I'm gonna tell you why I do not like it. I mean, you gotta think about it. Super Bowl window's open, right? So do you feel like we would be getting a Super Bowl, like more odds of winning one without Cortland? And we're entrusting Vele to take that next step, Mims to take that next step. You know, we're hoping that Pat Bryant is that receiver, is that guy. But I think it's more because of Vele and Mims and not because of Cortland. Like, we also got to remember Cortland was top 15 in literally receiving yards. He was top 15 in receiving touchdowns and targets. And we have to remember, and he wasn't at 15, like he was like 12, 13, 12, you know, so we got to remember this was all well when 4 games of Bo Nix that was not the actual Bo Nix. He was still getting his feet wet. And also another game of versus the Saints. I was at that game, didn't get a target, and you still top 15. And not to mention was number 1 when getting a first down. Converting a first down. Cortland Sutton was number 1. So do we really want to not extend him and then not to mention like mess up that chemistry that Bo and Cortland has? Wouldn't you want to see that for the next 2 or 3 years? Like I would love to see it. And then you're hoping while you still have that security blanket, because you're going to need him, you're hoping that as you keep Cortland Sutton and that security blanket, that one of those 3 receivers takes that next step. Or Bryant emerges out of that room. Or Franklin. We can't forget about Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin possibly coming up the ranks and getting that wide receiver 2 spot. So I'm telling you now, my person is John Franklin Myers. He's the odd man out. They drafted Savion Jones. And, you know, coming off of going into his contract year, and you look like you drafted his replacement. He has size, speed. You know what I'm saying? Like Allen and Benito are the guys you definitely have to bring back. So John Franklin Myers is my guy out. Unfortunately, because honestly, I want to bring them all back. But if we had a choice and they said, hey, you can bring 3 guys out of the 4 guys back, John Franklin Myers is the odd man out. And I'll kick it over to you, Michael, how you feel, and I'll get into why I want to bring Benito and Allen back. So let me go ahead and, you know.
Well, you guys all make very good points. Like I say, I actually agree with everybody's points. But I'd say Cortland's a little bit different. I do believe fanatic receivers are a dime a dozen. I like that. I almost feel like they are a dime a dozen. If you got a QB, right, he's going to make them great. But Cortland's different because I think he does things none of those other receivers on our team can do. And so I would expect they'd be maybe meet in the middle. I think Cortland's best 2 career years are coming up. One, because he learned how to play the game of football already when he got injured and lost the speed. So I don't think that speed, that drop off you usually see at this age has already happened for Cortland, and he's shown that he was smart enough to stay on the field and still be able to do other things. Another thing, which I don't see too many people, so maybe I'm completely wrong with this. I think Vance Joseph can make defensive linemen. I'm not saying you can plug in anybody.
Been good at that.
But he's shown he's good at that. I don't want to call them a dime a dozen because that sounds crazy. Even that sounds crazy in my head.
That's his one factor that he's been good at, though.
That's the one thing that if anybody asks me, well, what is he good at? I've always seen him get the defensive line better. So, like I said, I actually agree with both of you guys when it comes to that take. I prefer they don't go that route because I prefer we are close. But I'm not there. Maybe Sean doesn't feel we are close. With that being said, though, let's swing to the line and let's talk about one of my favorite guys, Nick Bonito. I'm not going to wear that shirt. I should wear that shirt. I don't know if I am, but one of my favorite moves is when he jumps in the end zone and does that. I had a shirt made out of that. That was just
love it.
That was fantastic. I had 3 of them made, gave 2 of them to my brother-in-laws for Christmas. That was just a classic Bronco move. I know it's probably not something PG-13 or anything like that, but definitely loved it. But Kinley, when it comes to Bonito, man, where do you think his future is going to fall with the Denver Broncos?
I'm hoping that we extend him very soon, because the price is only going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Bonito has showed ever since his rookie year, 1.5 sacks, second year, 8.5 sacks, third year, this past season, 13.5 sacks. Not only that, he was a game changer, saved us versus the Colts. So he's shown in every single year that he's been in the NFL that he got better every single year. So I definitely think you have to extend him. Is there some things he needs to work on, like his run defending? Yes, but he's also improved in that every single year. So you don't want to let a guy like you don't want to wait and say, oh, we'll see what you can do this year. He's shown you he's improved every single season. So before that number skyrockets, I believe you have to extend him and get it done as soon as possible. He's proven it. He's proven it. Point blank. He's proven it.
Yeah, he's always gotten better. The Fanatic, how do you feel when it comes to Bonito? And obviously he's going to get close to a max deal. Is that what the Broncos are looking for? And is that going to hinder us in any way from winning the title?
He's number 2 on my list of extensions to get done. He's right there at the top of these guys, at the top of the priority list for me. I don't know if you guys are big fans of Friday, the movie Friday with Ice Cube and Smokey, but there's a scene there with Big Worm talking to Smokey and saying, playing with my money is like playing with my emotions. And I feel that way about Nick Bonito, and he might feel some type of way. Don't play with my money and don't play with my emotions. Sign this man. And Kinley's touched on all great points of why the Broncos should sign him. Yes, there are concerns, but who do you really have to replace him in terms of the production? You really don't have many choices right now. I know Jonah Alice, he shined in his rookie season, but why gamble when you have a sure thing right in front of you is my point. So sign this man. I know he's asking anywhere from 25 to 35. 30 plus. You got to sign him, man. He was right up there with Defensive Player of the Year talks in my 6, I think at one point. So yeah, He's a game changer.
Yeah, like I say, we should get it done. He honestly too, I know if you guys play the game, you understand that he seems a guy that you like in the locker room also. That
Yep.
that
Big
you're
dog.
just like, right, man. That man, it ain't nothing better knowing that dude's gonna give everything on the line because you're gonna give everything on the line. So yeah, man. Like I think the Broncos get it done. It sounds like they're gonna get it done. Um, but where do we wait until July to make it official? I'm thinking
Yeah,
it's
I
when.
believe you can't do anything until you can't extend them until July. So I want to see it. I want to when July hits, whenever time that comes, I want to see a Bonito extension, and before that, I want to see a Cortland Sutton extension. I want to see it. It was supposed to happen after the draft. Here we are, still waiting. And what's the
Yeah.
hope? Because
I think
McLaurin is about to be extended by
right.
the
Well,
Commanders.
that might
Yeah,
be the holdup. Yeah, that might be the holdup.
right. And like not saying they're on the same level. Courtland's
No,
kind of
yeah.
underneath that, but you don't think he's going to look at that and be like, I wonder if I could get that.
So that's popcorn.
So yeah, so we need to get that done before that deal gets done.
I would like to have all of these guys, in all honesty, under the same roof. I would like to have all these guys under the same roof. If that's as a Broncos fan, why not? These guys have put in the work. Especially, I know, I've said what my reasons why I wouldn't extend Cortland Sutton, but I mean, he's been there for this whole franchise through thick and thin.
Yeah.
So I do respect him. I respect his game. He's managed to put production up, no matter the quarterback. So. Yeah, I would love to have all four of these guys extended if that's the case, though, in all honesty.
And since we go in that route, I guess I'll say what I got to say about John Franklin Myers. I loved it when we traded for him. I thought that he would make this defensive line a lot scarier. So yes, I did have him as the odd man out, but I would damn sure love to keep him. Excuse my friend. Okay. JFM, if you ever watch this, I want you here, buddy. Don't let it fool you.
Yes,
I
me
want
too.
you here. Okay.
Yeah.
7 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, bro. That he improved the run game. Those 18 tackles for loss
He did.
shows that he improved the run game. Something that was a major weakness on our defense leading up to last year. In the offseason leading up to last year. So yeah, I think he needs to get done as well. I was looking at Spot Track. They have him as his market value at $8 million per season. But I think he gets a deal done if he does extend in Denver, extend to stay with Denver. Something along the lines of kind of what Zach Allen got initially when he signed with Denver in 2023, when we moved off of Draymond Jones in favor of Zach Allen. 3 years, $45 million, I want to say, and it was a $15 million annual average. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
What is that going to really hurt? Especially the way that the front office has been structuring these contracts, man. I think if they really want to, they would find a way. I don't really know off the top of my head the exact number of cap relief that we have, or cap room, I should say, next season. But yeah, and then Cortland Sutton, his annual average, I'm looking at anywhere between 25 to 29 million. Maybe 3 years, 2 years.
I mean, he
You
still
can
has
make it
1 year
work.
left on his deal.
You can have,
I say you
yeah,
extend him 2 years. I say you give him a 2-year deal, extend him to the,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then if you extend him, you're saving $8 million in cap space if you extend Cortland Sutton. And the same thing with Zach Allen, but we'll get into Zach Allen in a second. Let's keep
Yes.
We jump straight into the topic to Franklin. So,
Right.
like I say, I definitely think we should keep him. Right. I'm always about paying people.
Yep.
So I say this with Franklin: it's not that I don't want you here in Denver, but if you can get a payday, go get your payday.
Go get your bag.
Yeah, go get your money. Franklin's a great football player. He helped to run so much. He really did his job very well. He was asked to do a few things, and he did them very well. Sometimes it's not all about getting pressure, but it's about staying in your lanes. and forcing running backs and other places other
And have
ways.
and
So
having him and Allen and like severely help the edge rushers get home because they plug up the middle. They wreak havoc in the interior, So it's a must that that we keep that whole defensive front seven intact, in my opinion, if we want to reach the pinnacle of Super Bowl contention.
there you go. Speaking about Allen Kinley, what do you think? A Fanatic just gave us his take. How about you?
Oh man, it's so underrated, so disrespected in the league, especially with when they talk about your top defensive tackles, and you see Zach Allen nowhere to be found. Well, he's kind of an end. Let me tell you something. The man is literally plays out of his mind. And the run he went on, and I was at first when we first signed him and he didn't do that much, I remember he was getting single blocked and just wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, oh man, was this a bad signing? And he comes in next year and kills it. I'm sure all of y'all who were talking about me on Twitter that y'all were wrong. And this definitely needs to get done. I think they talked about $22 to $25 million. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You need to keep as much of this D-line intact as possible. And not only that, Zach Allen, they always talked about how he goes to the meeting rooms and he's writing down notes. Even it doesn't matter if he had a great game. He's always trying to get better. You need that kind of leader on the defensive line. So you brought back DJ Jones. Why can't you bring back Zach Allen? So I think it's a must. I believe he had 8 sacks for a D tackle. 8 sacks?
8.5 sacks, 40 quarterback hits. Not sure how many pressures he said?
Yeah, how many pressures?
I'm not sure exactly on the pressures, but he had 40 quarterback hits.
That's over 40 pressures. We know that there.
Yeah. The next closest one, I can't remember the name behind him, but had 23. The one that everybody loves, that's with the Chiefs, the defensive lineman, Chris Jones, at 20. He had double the amount of quarterback hits than Chris Jones did with the Chiefs, who were just in the Super Bowl, mind you. So PFF disrespected him, didn't include him in the top 10 of interior defensive linemen. We know what it is with PFF. They're just constantly hating on their players. But
I don't even want to talk about them.
So we know.
They don't deserve. This foul language on our show, man. I want to say.
FPP.
I'm gonna say this about Allen and what it reminds me of. I used to work with this guy who was very good. For whatever reason, he brought the best out of me. The company would think he was the best out of me. My buddy, he got a job somewhere else. You know what? I went to go work for him over there too, because he brought the best out of me, and I kept getting more and more money the more I worked with him. And I feel like this is how it is with Zach Allen. I think he knows his defensive coordinator. I think he loves the scheme. He just keeps getting better and better in that scheme. I think either way, I think he ends up in Denver. I'm not saying he's going to take a discount, but I think if he did take a deal and he wanted to gamble himself, I could see him doing a 2-year deal and be like, I get better numbers. But I would be concerned if we signed him to a deal and then someone took Vance Joseph from us next year. Would it be used the same way, and we might not get what we paid for, and that wouldn't fall on Allen. Those are maybe my only concerns, but like you guys say, man, bring them all back. Let's run this back.
Yeah,
those two, John Brinkley Myers and Zach Allen were even a part of the 63 sacks.
Let's just mention Zach guys. Let's show that what we can do it again. And we had the most sacks, and that's what no disrespect, but no decent linebackers or anything.
I know disrespect. You're just right.
And that's why I think the Broncos will get more than 60
sorry, but if we're going to be honest, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, I guess always my thing
is a difference.
not everybody is not everybody is actually great in the NFL. You might not just be as good as your teammates, right? These guys are all studs. They're some of the best athletes in the world. I don't want to call anybody trash or say they ain't good at what they're doing.
We won't say that. We won't say trash.
But, that's why I'm on my rolling chair and by my computer talking about them, not to them. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
We won't say trash.
Yeah, well, that's going to do it today. We appreciate everybody who's watching. We're on TikTok now, so check us out there. We're on YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. Get some screens up. Thank you, Fanatic, as always, man. You great.
Thank you, guys.
Kinley, man, send us home.
All right, Broncos country. We appreciate you for joining us. And all we got to do is say this. If it ain't about the Broncos,
Buckem.
Peace.